Hi, I'm Ross with Sky Management, and today we're going to be changing out some exit lights. These can be a little tricky because they're typically wired, it's wired into the power now, but they're also on backups. So turning the power off can still allow some power to come to the backup lights. So also another problem with turning the power off is you won't be able to see what you're doing, so you'll have to set up some lights. I'm going to wire it hot, so this will be a nice little blooper reel if I shock myself. Ours have an external battery backup that we're running these other lights. We're switching out to a light that has batteries in it, so we're not going to be using the external batteries anymore. So we'll be able to just cut all those off. So you have several wires in here. Your black and your white are what the new ones are going to use. So we'll need to know which ones those are. And then the ones that are in here that are blue and yellow, it's a little hard to tell because of this. So this is the white line that we're going to need for later. I'm going to end up cutting all these off, but for now. The black line, or the hot line that we need, is in here. And then all the rest of these I can just cut off. All of these. Because those were for the battery backups. Now that we've got those squared away, I'm going to remove this one from the ceiling. There's a nut on the bottom of this. All right, we've got the light pulled down and our black and white are separated off to the side here. We can go ahead and remove this plate. On this particular junction box, the ground wire is connected up in the back of the box. So we won't have to worry about hooking that in. If it's not connected in the back, then you may want to screw it into one of these posts when you're putting the new plate on. The new exit light that we're going to put up, it has two emergency lights on the sides, the mounting plate for the top, and then it comes with two exit signs, and you can pop out the arrows to, depending on what your situation is on where you're pointing it. We're going to use an exit sign on both sides for this light. It also comes with the bracket to screw it up to the ceiling and the necessary screws to do that, as well as some wire nuts. For our application in this building, we don't use a 277, so we're going to cut that off now and leave it in the box with a wire nut on it. And then when we go to wire it up, we'll only use the black and the white. When we're getting this light ready to put up, there's the cover on the top. They put that on there so if you're doing a wall mount, you can mount through this back plate. You can screw through this back plate to mount it to the wall onto your junction box. We're doing a ceiling mount, so we're going to go through the top. So that'll pop out, and then the wires feed up through the middle of this. And you're going to wire those. They go through here and through this. And then we'll wire these on first, and then we'll screw up the plate, and then we'll screw this to the plate, and then we'll snap this on the bottom. Okay, for the side lights, kind of pull some of the wire back through there so that it's not in the way, and then they just snap on the sides like so. This is the battery cable. It goes right here. Should only go in there one way. All right, we're ready to wire up this new one. It'd be recommended to turn the power off, but that would make it really dark and hard for us to film. So I'm gonna try to do it with it hot and not shock myself or anyone else. Once you've got your wire nuts secured on there, you push the wires up in the box. And then we'll be putting this plate on next. Now on our box, it's the wide slots. If you have a smaller box, it may be the inner slot. Now, the purpose of this plate, you don't want to get it too tight because the purpose is for it to be able to swivel. So then when you put this up and screw it to it, you can adjust it a little bit. Okay, we're going to be screwing this bracket up to the top. It goes on the inner small hole. I'm trying to point to it if you can see it there. So put the screw through the hole on here. And just line it up like so. One on the other side. Now your exit light will just snap up to that box. The tricky part's going to be getting all the wires poked up through the hole. If you had a solid ceiling, might help. The drop ceiling makes it a little bit trickier, like so. Once you get your light all mounted, you want to adjust the lights themselves to point where you want them to. They're pretty adjustable. I'm going to go one down the hallway over here and then one down that way. And once you get them lined up how you want them, there's a button on the side to test it. You push the button, that kills the power that's coming in and lets the battery shine the lights, and that's what it should look like. I'm going to go ahead and install a second one. We'll do it a little different this time by not putting the covers on it, and maybe we can film it better and you can see from the inside. This is the battery cable. It goes right here. Should only go in there one way. I'm going to try to do the second one a different way by putting this bracket up on there first. And then we'll have to shove those wires back through once we get the light wired on. It was a little bit difficult to poke the wires up in there, so I'm not sure that I would recommend that. I think you should wire it up and then put the plate on. But we want to try it a couple different ways. Slap these covers back on here. There's a button on the side to test it. You push the button, that kills the power that's coming in and lets the battery shine the lights, and that's what it should look like.